everyone, and welcome to Kiki Crochet. In this video tutorial, we are going to learn how to crochet step by step these beautiful crocodile stitch baby booties. Now this pattern calls for baby sizes newborn to 12 months, and you will find the chart in the beginning of the video with the number of the foundation chains that we're going to need for each size and how many scales we're going to have all around. Now we're going to start together working the sole. We're going to crochet 2 of them, and then we're going to join them together, and then we're going to see how to continue crocheting the rest of the booty, the decreases, and how to crochet the scales all around. The yarn that I'm going to use for this project is Signet Pure Baby DK, and it's this one over here. It's a very nice and very soft yarn to crochet baby items. And I'm going to crochet with a 4mm crochet hook. So now we're going to start with a foundation chain, and this is a very nice way to start your projects because the foundation chain gives you helps you to crochet easier around it. Also, it's a very nice way to start your projects if you're making blouses or jackets, whatever, because when you crochet the regular chain, it's not stretchy. Okay, but the foundation chain is as stretchy as the rest of your project. Okay, so we're going to work 6 foundation chains. Now, if you do not want to work or you do not know how to do it, please start with an extra chain for each size than the ones that I ask for the foundation chain. So for here I need 6 foundation chains for the newborn size. If you're going to start with a regular chain, chain 7, and starting from the second stitch from the hook, work the same exact steps as I'm going to work on my foundation stitches. Okay, so let's start. So I'm going to start with my beginning knot, and I'm going to chain 2. 1 and 2. Put your hook in the first chain. Okay, so skip the first one, put your hook in the second chain, sorry. And take the yarn, pull it through the stitch, take the yarn, pull through the first loop, take the yarn and close the last 2 loops together. So I just created my first foundation chain. Now what I want to do every time is I want to put my hook down here on the left. I want to put my hook and I want to grab those 2 loops every time to start working a new foundation chain. Okay, so it's this loop right over here down in the left, but please be aware, do not grab only the one loop. We also want the loop beneath it, right there. Okay. So put your hook and grab those 2 loops, take the yarn, pull it through the stitch, take the yarn, pull it through the first loop, take the yarn and close the last 2 loops together. So this was my second foundation chain. Now keep crocheting. Again, we want to put our hook in the bottom left over here of the foundation chain that we just worked to grab those 2 loops. This one in the front and the one beneath it. Right there. I need 2 loops on my hook. Okay. So grab the yarn, pull through the first loop, take the yarn and pull through the 2 loops. So this was our third foundation chain. Again, right here on the bottom left, grab the 2 loops. Okay. Take the yarn, pull through the first loop. Take the yarn, pull through the last 2 loops. So this was our 4th foundation chain. Again, put your hook right here in the bottom left to grab the 2 loops. Grab the yarn, pull through the first loop, grab the yarn, pull through the last 2 loops. So now we have 5 foundation chains, and you can count right over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to work our 6th and last foundation chain. Grab the yarn, pull through the first loop, grab the yarn, pull through the last 2 loops. And right here we have 6 foundation chains. And now we're going to start row number 1. Now, whatever steps that I work for my increases for the heel and for the toes, the same increases apply to all sizes. The difference is the stitches that I work between my stitch markers over here, okay, for each size. So I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, and I'm going to turn my work. Okay, starting from the first stitch, I'm going to work 1 half double crochet along with the 2 chains that I just worked. They count, I say half double crochet as well. It's the same thing as if I'm working a half double crochet increase. It's the same thing as working 2 stitches in the same stitch. Okay, now starting from the next stitch, I'm going to have 4 half double crochet in the center, and my center stitches are always going to be 4 for this size. Starting from the next stitch, work your first stitch, and if you need, you can put a stitch marker in the first stitch so you know every time where to start crocheting your stitches in between. Okay, so 1, next stitch, 2, next one, 3, next one, 4. So since this is the last stitch for the center, I'm going to place again a stitch marker if I need it. And now on the next stitch, which is the last one, I'm going to work the increase for the toes. Right in here, I'm going to work 6 half double crochet in the same stitch. So 1, same stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So for all sizes, in your last stitch, you're going to work 6 half double crochet. Now for this size, starting from the next stitch, I'm going to work the first out of the 4 stitches. And the next stitch is this one right over here, because in this one, which was the last one, we worked the increase. So by working the increase, it helps me to turn the work and work on the bottom stitches of the sole. Okay, so starting from the next stitch right over here, work your first out of your 4 stitches. So whatever number of stitches you have between your markers on the top, the same stitches we want to have in the bottom as well. Place your stitch marker in the first stitch. Okay, so 1, next stitch, 2, next one, 3, and the last stitch, 4. And place your last stitch marker. Okay, now we're going to complete crocheting the increases for the heel. So right here in this space right in here, I'm going to put my hook and I'm going to work 2 half double crochet, sorry, in the same stitch. 1, same stitch, 2, and close the row by working a slip stitch in the second chain, counting from the bottom to the top, in the second chain that you worked in the beginning of the row. Okay, so this is the first stitch of the row. Work a slip stitch. So we have completed the first row of the sole, and for the heel we worked more increases than for the toes we worked more increases than we did for the heel. And this happens because I want the heel to be now narrower, a little pointer than the toes. Okay, so now we're going to start row number 2 by chaining 2, and this is my first half double crochet, and I'm going to work one more in the same stitch as the base of the chains right here. Now, because we are not turning the work every time that we complete a row and we keep crocheting in the round, the loops that belong to the stitches are on the top right over here. This is the next half double crochet. On the top right over here, it's the loop that belongs to it, and it's right next to the stitch that I just worked. So right in here, I'm gonna work the second increase for the heel, right over here. So 2 double crochet in this stitch as well. Now, starting from the next stitch, I'm gonna work my 4 stitches in the center. Okay, so the first one, and place again your stitch marker. Okay, next stitch, 2, next one, 3, and the last one, 4. Replace again your stitch marker. Now, starting from the next stitch, in each of the next 6 half double crochet that I worked as an increase for the toes, I'm going to work 2 half double crochet in each of those 6 stitches, and this applies to all sizes. Okay, starting from the next stitch, 1, same stitch, 2, next stitch, 3, same stitch, 4, okay, I think I frogged it. Yes, I did. So we worked 1, 2, next stitch, 3 and 4, 3, same stitch, 4, next stitch, 5, same stitch, 6, next one, 7, same one, 8, next one, 9, same stitch, 10, and the next one, 11, same stitch, 12. Now, starting from the next stitch, I'm going to work my 4 stitches in the center. So I'm going to take out my stitch marker, and I'm going to work 1 and replace it, 1, next stitch, 2, 3, and the last one, 4. Place again your stitch marker, and in each of the last 2 stitches I'm going to work an increase to double crochet in each of the stitches. So next one, 1, same stitch, 2, and the next one, 3, same stitch, 4. Now it's going to seem over here as we're missing a stitch, but we're not, because every time, as I mentioned earlier, we do not turn the work. The loop that belongs to each stitch is the one on the top right, and because this is my last half double crochet, this is the last loop that belongs to that stitch. Okay, this right here was my slip stitch, and I'm gonna close the row by working a slip stitch in the first stitch of the row, which is the 2 chains counting from the bottom to the top. Okay, and I'm going to chain 2 to start the new row. And look how our sole looks like at this point. The stitch markers are completely crooked. They're not symmetrical at all. So what we're going to do now in this row is we're going to cheat a little bit to straighten out the stitches all around. So what we're going to do is I'm going to work 1/2 double crochet in the same stitch as the base of the chain. So this is my first increase. Now, the next stitch that I'm supposed to crochet into is this one right over here. Because this is the next half double crochet, this is the loop that belongs to it. But I'm not going to crochet on that stitch, I'm going to skip it and I'm going to crochet in the next one. By doing this, I am moving all my stitches one stitch to the next. I'm moving my stitches one stitch after than what they're supposed to. So this is not going to be my first out of the 4. The next stitch is going to be the first out of the 4 stitches. And this stitch is not going to be the last, the 4th stitch for the center. The next stitch is going to be the 4th stitch for the center, okay? Same thing will apply here. This isn't going to be the first stitch, it's going to be the next one. And this isn't going to be the 4th one. The next stitch is going to be the 4th for the center, okay? So I'm moving one stitch after all my stitches. So again, we're skipping this stitch and I'm going to work my 1 double crochet in the next one right over here. And now I'm working the increases for the heel, which apply the same for all sizes. In the next stitch, I'm going to work an increase, 2 double crochet in the same stitch, 1, same stitch, 2. And my last increase is going to be worked right over here. And I'm going to work 1 half double crochet. Now I'm going to work my 4 stitches in the center. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and the 4th stitch is going to be after the stitch marker. So this is what I meant when I said that I have moved my stitches one stitch after than what they're supposed to be. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now I'm going to work the increases for the toes, and the increases apply the same for all sizes. So in the first stitch I'm going to work 1 half double crochet. In the next stitch I'm going to work 2 half double crochet in the same stitch, 1, 2. In the next stitch I'm going to work 1 half double crochet. In the next stitch I'm going to work 2 half double crochet in the same stitch, 1 and 2. In the next stitch I'm going to work 1 half double crochet, and in each of the next 2 stitches I'm going to work 2 half double crochet. So 2 half double crochet in the next one, 1, 2, and 2 half double crochet in the next stitch as well, 1, 2. And the reason that we cheated in the beginning is to have those increases, those 2 increases in the center of the sole. Okay, so keep working, 1 half double crochet in the next stitch, 2 half double crochet in the next one, 1, 2, 1 half double crochet in the next stitch, and 2 half double crochet in the next one. And my last increase is going to be worked in the next stitch, the last stitch for the increases, which is going to be only 1 half double crochet. Now I'm going to work my 4 stitches in the center, and the 4th one is going to fall right after the stitch of the stitch marker. Okay, starting from the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm going to work my last stitches for the increase. So 1 half double crochet in the next stitch, 2 half double crochet in the second one, 1, 2, 1 half double crochet in the third one, and in the last stitch, which it's actually the slip stitch, the same thing as the previous row, but in this row, because we moved all the stitches one stitch after than what they're supposed to be, the last increase will fall right here in the slip stitch. Okay, and now work a slip stitch in the first stitch of the row, which is the chain 2. So in the second chain, counting from the bottom to the top, chain 1, cut the yarn and fasten off. Now in row 1, in the beginning we started with 6 foundation chains. In row 1 we had 18 stitches, 28 in row 2 and 38 in row 3. Okay, now what I want you to do is crochet all the soles for the size all at once, because if you leave it and you crochet at night time or the next day your slipper soles, even you will realize that even if you have worked the same stitches, they will have a different size. And that happens because we never crochet with the same tension, because we're tired, just because we want to crochet a little loosely than we did earlier in the day, okay? And your stitches, your soles are going to be in different sizes. So make sure you crochet your other 3 soles as well, because we're going to need 2 for each slipper. And once I crochet my second one, I'm going to turn my video back on to see how to join them together and how to start crocheting our crocodile stitch booty. Okay, so I have crocheted both my soles for each slipper, okay, and this is the good side that we're crocheting, and I want to turn both soles on the wrong side, and the wrong side is the side where the little tail that we started with is at, okay, and this is how your wrong side looks like. Of course, you will have to weave in all of your ends before you continue, because it's going to be easier to work your project. Okay, I'm just leaving the tails just so you can understand at which part of my work I am. So I have my both slippers on the wrong side, and this is the back center. This is the heel over here, okay? So put your hook on the first sole in the slip stitch, and in the slip stitch of the back sole as well. So this helps us, the slip stitches, to align both soles so we can work a slip stitch all around to join them together. So take your new color, the purple one, and I have my hook from the one side, from the front sole to the back. I have my yarn in the back of the project. Grab it and pull it through both soles, both stitches, okay? Now put your hook in the next stitch of the front sole and in the next stitch of the back sole as well. So this is how it's going to look. Grab the yarn, pull it through both soles and through the loop that you have on your hook. Now this was my first slip stitch, and because we had 38 stitches all around, I'm going to have 38 slip stitches all around as well. So put your hook in the second stitch in the front and in the second stitch in the back. Okay, this is how it's supposed to look, and work a slip stitch. So take the yarn, pull it through both soles and through the loop that you have on your hook. Now third stitch in the front, third stitch in the back, and work a slip stitch. Okay, fourth stitch in the front, fourth stitch in the back, and join them with a slip stitch. So keep working one slip stitch all around. And once I reach at this point where I will have my 37th slip stitch, I'm going to turn my video back on so we can work the last one together, and then we're going to see how to continue with the slipper. I have worked my 37 slip stitches so far. Okay, now the 38th is going to be worked in the same stitch as the first, where over here where we attach the yarn, to work your 38th slip stitch. Okay, now cut the yarn, bring the yarn on the top. Okay, pull the loop to bring the yarn in the top. Now put your crochet hook from the back to the front in the same stitch as we just finished crocheting. Grab the yarn and bring it on the back of the sole again. Now make a knot with your purple yarns. Okay, and grab both pieces of the purple yarn and bring them back up. On the inside of the booty. Okay, so right over here. Now what you're going to do is you're going to weave in all of your ends right here on the loops of the half double crochet, and I'm going to weave in all the other ends as well, so it's easier for us to see the steps that I'm going to be working from here on. Okay, and this here on the side that we're working our slip stitches, this is going to be the inside of the booty, and this is going to be the bottom side. They said it's going to be, you know, on the floor, this over here. And look how nice our project looks like. Now I'm going to go ahead and weave in all of my ends, and I'm going to turn my video back on to see how to start working around the loops of the slip stitches.